Okay, so this is about what is the nature of changing the programming in our holographic reality. Now, in my previous lecture to this one, I reminded everyone that in this holographic reality, everything that we think of as physical objects, sometimes physical objects in motion, it's all data in this simulated holographic reality. I call it simulated because in metaphysics, this is known as the relative world. And the absolute world, we don't live in it, so what it's like, I can't even tell you, I don't know. But this is a relative world, and which means that it's a derivative world. The primary world is that other thing. It's absolute. That is the start. The things start in the absolute and then filter into our relative world. Even, Einstein said that this world is full of relativity. That was the name of, his theory, of physics, relativity. So things are relative here. But what I want to keep going back to is, where is the information stored? So that we can access it, or do we need to know where it's stored? Is there some other way to access the information? The reason I'm wearing purple, and I know it's NFL and it's actually the Minnesota Vikings, but I really wanted the purple color was what I was going to get. So it's about purple. So I want to talk to you about the Saint Germain it's violet flame. In other words, deep purple flame. So if you do a meditation and you imagine yourself, imagine you have an aura around you and it's all violet flames. And you say, I'm using the violet flame of Saint Germain to burn up karma. That seems to be a way that you can access the programming and the information that is running this reality. Why? Because we're told that. When you come into planet Earth, humans don't have much instinct. We look at the animal kingdom, and animals, they don't go to public school and learn how to do things. Whereas human babies learn everything from other humans. So, where are we going to get the information from? Oh, well, the Saint Germain violet flame meditation came from other humans. So anyway, that's one way that you can change things. If it's karmically related, whatever this recurring problem is in your life, if you do the violet flame meditation, perhaps you can access the programs that are running here to remove the programming that's causing you a karmic problem. Are there other kinds of problems besides karmic? I don't know. And that's the way it is for everyone. So accessing, my sore shoulder. How do I fix that problem? Well, I'm doing it the old-fashioned way with physiotherapy and stretching exercises and yoga. But it's been taking a long time, and is it better? Well, I can stretch better, but I still quite often have a stiff neck. And I know this is not normal. People would say, well, it's normal for you because you're getting older. You got gray in your beard. You're getting to be an old person. So with aging, things break down. This is I don't want to buy into this aging thing. I think the collective consciousness of humanity buys into this aging. But where people say, well, you're a mechanical body, so mechanical things break down. Everyone knows that if you've got, you know, if you run a car for 10 years, somewhere along the line, you're going to have to replace the brake shoes and brake pads because they're going to wear out, because they're mechanical. But the human body is not like brakes on a car. Um, well, the skin is in certain ways because the skin keeps growing and keeps flaking off. But the only thing is that brakes in a car, they flake off with friction, but they're not alive, so they don't replace themselves. Whereas your skin is alive and it keeps replacing itself. So it's the same thing with the rest of the human body. There's no good reason why the human body doesn't completely replace itself. And if you ask a lot of smart people, they say it actually does. Your cells replace themselves. If you figure how much water you drink in a year, well, the body is, what is it? It's over 70% water. So if it's made of water, then you've replaced the water multiple times in your body. So all it is really, it's the form that the water is taking. People will say, well, it's your DNA. Your DNA is programmed, so after a certain number of cell divisions, it's going to not divide properly anymore, and it's going to cause your skin to become thin, and your eyes aren't going to work very well anymore. You're going to lose your hearing. This is all a pile of crap. I've heard telomeres on the end of your chromosomes start becoming too small and they don't work anymore. This is all physical things that people have looked at with microscopes. I don't care if it's an electron microscope, you're still looking at things physically. This stuff, every little bit of it is informational. Some people say, well, you gotta be like a PhD in biochemistry, molecular biology in order to be able to play around with DNA. And that's how you can go and tell your body to fix itself. Possibly it's true. But is there a shortcut? I think there is. I think there's easier ways than playing around in, $50 million biochemical lab with DNA in order to go and fix things up. It's using spiritual techniques. Why do I know this? Well, I learned Reiki many years ago, and I could feel the energy moving. And when I had Reiki done on me, I felt better. So I know from personal experience that Reiki works. Does it work on everything? My teacher said it does. So, my ego says there's a lot of things that I don't seem to see healed around me. So why would that be? I think there's also a great program that's running among all of humanity. And it's a great big story called, let's call it awakening. Okay, it's awakening from our belief that we are physical beings. As I keep saying, we're not. We're basically water that's held in form by morphogenic fields, and that's a Rupert Sheldrake term. You can look up Rupert Sheldrake, morphogenic fields. And what drives these morphogenic fields? Well, even the fields itself are informational, and it's a spiritual program. So in the end, it's run by intelligence, and it's also run by intelligence that knows that humans are used to being humans. And humans like stories, and they like to participate in adventures. So it's a great human adventure story that we're going through right now on planet Earth. We're doing spiritual awakening. I'm using the term spiritual because we're talking about higher intelligence than what we're taught in high school. And it's not university, and it's not going to your church, although some people do find that doing prayer for people helps them out, so that could be it. I just mean trying to open the Bible, for example, and getting something useful that's going to cure my arm. Ah. I thought I had a Bible down here, but maybe I don't. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, here's a Bible. Here's a Bible, and we're going to see if there's something in here that's going to make any sense at all in helping with. And I do have a sore. This is my rotator cuff has been very sore for the past year. Okay, here's the Holy Bible. And as you can see, I bought it at a used bookstore for $5.95, and it was placed somewhere by the Gideons for free. So someone stole the Bible, took it to a bookstore, and then I had to pay for it. Weird. Okay, here we go. I'm going to just turn it random. And we're going to go here, and it says, oh good God, I don't have my glasses. Yet even in those days, declares the Lord, I will not make you a complete destruction. And it shall come about when they say, why has the Lord our God done all these things to us? That then you shall say to them, as you have forsaken me and served foreign gods in your land, so shall serve strangers in a land that is not yours. This is Jeremiah. Okay, so how is this Bible helping me with my shoulder? I'm serving foreign gods. Okay, I'm an actor, and the director is the one that made me turn to this page in Jeremiah. So that's basically what they are saying. I've been serving foreign gods. So what's a foreign god? Well, in my mind, the foreign god is the Babylonian money magic program that runs most of the world, otherwise known as fractional reserve banking and capitalism. So that's what I've been serving. So rather than me doing what I would like to do, what my own internal spirit wants me to do, I have to go and do other things to get money to live in our capitalist society. And by doing the things that I was doing, is it a work injury? Yes. So it is serving Babylon rather than my own internal spirit. My own internal spirit would say, to hell with capitalism, to hell with interest debt, 22% on my credit card or whatever, and the whole system that we have on planet Earth, it's a foreign god. It's foreign to me. I hate it, and by serving it, that's how I hurt my arm. Well, I had to make something up. But anyway, the average person would say, well, this book has not been very useful, because even if that's the cause of your problem, the solution is not readily apparent. So that's why I call this kind of thing a religious solution and not really a spiritual solution. Because even if that's the cause of the problem, I am still living on planet Earth. It is still capitalist, and I still have to have money to live. So, and doing the things I like talking to you on YouTube, um, doesn't pay the bills. Singing, which I love to do, doesn't pay the bills. So, um, it doesn't really give me a good solution. How else can I fix this problem? Well, I went to see my doctor, and a year ago he set me up to see a specialist. Then a year later, somewhere they lost my referral to the specialist, so it's been referred again, and months later I still haven't heard from the specialist. I do live in Canada, and it's socialist medicine. Yes, it's free to go to see the doctor, but you have to wait. And is it worth waiting? You don't see me going and driving down to Rochester, Minnesota to pay to see a specialist because, well, they referred me to a surgeon, and I don't want physical surgery. So, even if they tell me here I've got to have work done, I don't want it. So I'm not going to go to paid medicine. The other thing about Canada is, if you're very poor, if you can figure out the system, you can get your prescription drugs covered, partially. Some people may be totally senior citizens. Depending on how poor you are, you might get your medication paid for. Other people, then they may have coverage through work, but some people don't and fall through the cracks. But that's Western medicine, and I don't think it's going to fix my gray beard aging problem. What's going to fix my gray beard aging problem? I have to figure out a way to get at the data. The biologist in me will say, then you've got to get at the DNA. It's too small. I can't get at it. I don't have a $50 million lab, and in order to get one of those kind of labs, then you've got to be beholden to someone who's got huge purse strings and is looking for what they want done. Maybe they think it's a good idea. They can make even more money charging people for an anti-reversing, not anti-reversing, an anti-aging or reversing pill. And then they'll invent an anti-reversing pill so that you can look old again. So I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer, and I'm very sorry. But I think the answer is out there, and I need higher intelligence than me, and I think I need higher intelligence than what we have on planet Earth among the humans. Because I don't think there's a human out there that's really smart. I think most of them are. I don't know. But we're not seeing huge breakthroughs, and I think it's because of money. It's Babylonian money magic. It's the fact that Big Pharma would rather not produce cures, because a cure is a one-time thing. Whereas if it's just, you got to take a pill every day for whatever your problem is, it's a steady stream of money. And when they do find a cure for you, they charge an outrageous amount of money for the cure. At one time, government labs did the research into these things, and then the idea was, well, the taxpayers are paying for the research, so when we got the solution, we can provide the cures basically for free, because it's already been paid for by the taxpayer. But as usual, greedy bastards got in the mix, and they've taken over the industry. So Maybe the Bible part is right. It's the greed of humans. Now, how many humans really want to get rid of capitalism? I talk to people on various media, social media, and some sit on the fence and don't know, but there's a lot of people that just feel, especially if you're American, this is the country of capitalism, and I want my chance to become a millionaire. I want to run my own business, and you know. So if you feel that way, and then you run into a problem and there's no cure for it, and you don't have enough money, then I'm going to point right at you and say it's your fault. It's your fault because you decided you wanted to have money and do it the old-fashioned way with greed. Other people will say, well, I want to. No. You don't want to provide services to your fellow human being out of the goodness of your heart. You want money. Your eye is on the dollars because you want the rewards of money. You want a great big mansion, you want a fast boat, you want a fast car, and if you're a man, generally you're going to want fast women and vice versa. And if you're one of those other groups, then you're going to want whatever you want. But you're looking to have a big payoff, and I had another video some time ago called The Last Big Payoff, and that's what you're stuck in. And I'm going to tell you that's the biggest problem with humanity today is even people that are left wing, they expect the government to give them big checks. They're always complaining, well, as my capitalist landlord just raised the rent, I need the government to pay for more checks. Here in Canada, I look at, the subsidized billing for doctors, and then I see how much doctors are paid. They're not paid as much as they are in the United States. But compared to the average Joe, they are at the top of the heap. And as far as government paying for these expensive pharmaceuticals, well, that means that the government is taking on more debt, or they're raising taxes to pay for all these things. So it's no free lunch. And the fault of it is greed. Greed. And if you're buying into the system called capitalism and something happens and you can't afford it, you've got a vested interest in capitalism and the greed associated with it. So until you can let go of being greedy and insisting on having a bigger house than the person down the block, are you saying I have to? Yes. You have to let go of everything that a status symbol for you. So you're saying we're all going to be like Russia, everyone's going to live in a little apartment. I'm sorry, you go to the big cities now, they're full of huge towers with little tiny apartments they call condominiums. Are they any different than Russia? No, except you got to pay more for them than you did in Russia. So you're no better off. And, you think, well, I'm thinking even bigger than that. I want to be as rich as Donald Trump or Bill Gates or something. Well, if you're an American, your country's about over 300 million people, and how many people are in that tier? I don't care. I want to make that tier of 30 families or something. You're being run around by Fantasyland. I mean, they used to say it in all the American movies. They'd always say something. This is America. You can grow up to be the president. Out of 300 million people, if you weren't to my grade 11 mathematics class, our math teacher said, I don't buy lottery tickets because statistically it's impossible to win. Somebody will always say, well, somebody's got to win. He said it's involuntary taxation because the government's taking all the money. It's a scam. Statistically, it's a scam. So if you're buying into the idea that you are going to create a huge amount of money by your capitalism for yourself, I think it's just like buying a lottery ticket. Statistically, it's impossible, and you're being an idiot. But, it's a free will universe, and if that's what you want, all I'm saying is the more people that think this way, the more greedy people there are that are all about it for me, 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 then there's no community here. Community communism, no. That was tried, and it gave you basically, as I said, the same thing there as here. I read recently that 50% of the population of the United States lives at or below the poverty line. So if that's as good as capitalism gets, I don't think communism was it that bad in Russia? I don't know. I never went to Russia in those days, but anyway, that's my point. That's my lecture. If you don't let go of your greed and your capitalism, we're never going to find a just society.